Hey sewing friends, so I have a couple more Rhapsody blouses that I want to show you, and then I also want to talk to you about kind of the lesson that I learned while making these last two Rhapsodies. I'd kind of dived in and was making the ball cap, or not the ball cap, the cap sleeve, ball cap, cap sleeve. I was making the cap sleeve version without the ties, and I was making it out of this nice floral, little ditzy floral viscose that I'd gotten from Lady McElroy. And I'm just, you know, by now I've made this pattern. I think I've made like 3-4 tops, and I've made a dress, and I'm pretty comfortable with it. I've made adjustments on the pattern, so I'm feeling really good about the fit, and I'm feeling real confident. So I'm just going along sewing this, and I gotta admit, the fabric, you know, it is kind of slippery. This viscose, it just seems to be a little more slippery and all. And as I'm going, you know, getting further along on it, I realized that it's just not looking as nice as it should be looking. And I'm thinking, okay, what's going on here? Because I'm familiar with the pattern, I've made it, the fit is good, why is this not looking good? And then of course the first thing I do is I want to blame it on the fabric. And then I start letting my sewing doubts creep in. And I have to tell you, I haven't talked about it, but I've really been working the last couple months on not letting my sewing doubts take over. You know, it's just really, so I said, okay, don't let your sewing doubts creep in. And I went ahead and stopped, and I just sort of analyzed and looked at the Rhapsody, the top that I was making. And then I realized, because I've made the top so many times, and it really hasn't been that many. It's only like 3 or 4 times, I think, total. But I'd gotten real complicit with the pattern. I'd gotten real overconfident with it because I was so pleased with how the others were working out that I actually just started getting a little sloppy. And then I realized, too, there's a couple things in this. This is, you know, stuff I realized. I don't know. Do you guys ever do that? Do you ever? Sometimes I think too much. But anyhow, then I started thinking that when I do that, when I'm not mindful when I'm sewing, because that's when I really enjoy sewing. It's when I'm real mindful and I'm just sort of, you know, tuning everything out, and I'm in my room, and I like it a lot in the late evenings when the rest of the household is asleep and all. But I wasn't being mindful of what I was doing, and I think a lot of that had to do with also feeling guilty about spending so much time in my sewing room. And I did a community post, I don't know if any of you have seen it, about whether you feel guilty about all the time or money that you spend in your sewing room. And half of you say, nope, at least the last time I checked. I don't know how many, you know, that was much earlier in the day. But at that time, half of you said, nope, I have no guilt with sewing. And then the other half said, well, yeah, maybe a little. So anyhow, I went ahead and looked at it and realized that I was really getting sloppy with my bias binding on this top. So I went ahead and got my old friend, what is it, they call it Jack the Ripper, the seam ripper, my old friend Jack, and just started unpicking the bias binding, got it all done, ironed it out, and then just started again, and then allowed myself the joy of sewing, of, you know, yeah, it's a process. Don't worry about how late it is. Don't worry about, you know, if someone's in the living room watching TV. This is, you know, your project that you're doing. It's the shirt that I'm making. So, you know, I iron it out and I take my time and I put it together, and, you know, I'm looking at it now and it's like, that's a good job. I did a good job on this bias binding. So anyhow, I have this lovely, beautiful Rhapsody top with a cap sleeve, which I think looks good, and it feels good when I wear it too, because it's a lovely, lightweight, floaty viscose that feels very light on the skin. And we're having a heat wave now. I don't know where you are, but I know a lot of the nation is having a heat wave. So it feels nice to have this kind of light, floaty fabric against your skin. And I'd kind of run out of fabric, so the inside yoke, which nobody sees, I went ahead and had this little scrap of, you know, my favorite lining is a China silk that I get from Mood Fabric. I'll talk about that a little later. But I just had this little scrap, so I did my inside yoke with this China silk, and then finished the rest of the top with the viscose, this little blue ditzy print. Now, I told you last time that I want to pair this because I'm excited. I think this will look really good with a white denim skirt. And I originally thought that I would do the Itch to Stitch, and I forget the name. It's like Tokoro or Taroko, or I'll put the name down there. But anyhow, Itch to Stitch just recently came out with a new denim skirt pattern, and it's kind of an A-line. You know, it's not quite as pencil as a lot, but it had, you know, it had some interesting pockets, and I thought, okay, I'll go ahead and make that white denim skirt. And then I started thinking, okay, I really am trying to, like, I've been spending too much money lately, and we have this big vacation coming up. So I started thinking, you know, I've been really reading and studying a lot of these pattern drafting books that I got, and I've been going through the exercises and, you know, sewing up some muslins here and there. And so I am going to this weekend try and draft my own denim skirt pattern. And I'm real excited about it because this is a pattern that has a lot of meat to it. You know, it's something you can really just immerse yourself, because you have the zipper, the fly zipper. You know, you have the coin pocket. I'm going to do the regular, you know, denim pocket with the coin pocket. You have belt loops. So, yeah, hold on, because that's what my project is for this weekend, and I'm hoping I can get the pattern all drafted and cut out and all by the end of the weekend. So, hold on, or stay tuned for that little escapade that I'm going to start on. Then the second Rhapsody that I made was going to be the one with the cap sleeve, or not the cap sleeve, I'm sorry, the 3/4 sleeve with the cuff, and then I was going to put the ties on it. And instead of making it a shirt, I went ahead and made it a dress with this material that at first, when the material first arrived, I was kind of like, nah. And I think I told you this. The only reason I bought it was because it has little dogs on it. And I have 2 little dogs. So I thought, oh, it'd be a cute dress. I have to say that this is probably right now my favorite dress. This material, along with this version of the pattern, meaning that the ties and the sleeves, it just looks great. And I can't believe it because I wore it to work. And before I went to work, stopped off to get a pastry and a fountain drink, and I'd gotten like 2 compliments. Well, just going from the car into the little cafe and ordering a pastry and getting a soda. And then at work, I got some compliments too. So I really do like the Rhapsody dress pattern. If you guys have been thinking about it, or, you know, or even if you haven't, I would encourage you to try it, because it really is a very flattering dress on, at least I think so, on my body type at least. And again, I like to line all my dresses with this China silk that I get from Mood Fabrics. Now what I like about it is that it is silk, and it feels very light, and it feels nice against the skin. And this fabric definitely needed a lining. And I also did it for the yoke as well. So the dress, I think, feels very nice and floaty, or looks very nice and floaty, but it also feels nice because of the silk, the little Habital or China silk is what it is on Mood Fabrics. And I like this because it is a bit pricey. It's $7.99 a yard, and I think it's only 45 inches wide, but they have like 90 colors. So you can always find a lining that's going to work for you. That's really another plus that I like about it. And I'm not affiliated with it or not. I'm just sharing the information that that's what I like to line my dresses and skirts with. So anyhow, again, I'll try and pop pictures up of me wearing this. The only thing I did differently than what the instructions say is on the cuff, I went ahead and added some interfacing. And I did that because, for a couple of reasons. One, this is a very thin, what's the word? Yeah, a thin, lightweight material. And I just felt that if I would have folded it up, it would have gotten lost, and it wouldn't have stayed up. I would have had to tack it up, and it would have been almost like a moot point. So I think by having the interfacing in there, it definitely stays up on its own. And then it just sort of gives you that solid background. You know, this you probably can't see on camera, but this I can definitely see my hand when it's in the inside. But when you put it behind interfaced, it, you know, it gives you that solid background. And I think that just makes the cuffs a little more distinctive and makes it worthwhile, because you know what, if you can't see it, why are you doing that design feature? So these are the two that I made this week, and I'm really looking forward to finishing off and getting the others completed. I already have another one cut out. Well, one cut out, and then another one cut out and halfway sewn together. Now, couple of things. I want to thank you guys all for all the advice on the traveling outfits, because you guys really gave me a lot to think about. For one, all you guys who mentioned compression socks, thank you so much, because I never would have thought of that. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. That's something I'm definitely going to keep in mind. Then Shira, I like your idea of a maxi dress and a jean jacket. Definitely like that. And let me see, I had to write this down so I wouldn't forget. So Jaybird07, genius advice. She had said to, in your carry-on, to just bring a little toothbrush and a small tube of toothpaste, because you're going to be on a plane, at least I am, for 17 hours, and it's, you know, it's gonna be a long time, so you might want to freshen up as soon as you get off the plane. So excellent advice. Thanks, you guys. I really appreciate it. And then now, what I want to talk to you guys about is mark your calendars for August 30th. This is what I was thinking, because I'm really having a fun time making these different versions of the Rhapsody. I'm learning a lot about myself, about fitting, you know, these patterns and all. And I thought it would be fun to do a virtual Rhapsody fashion show. You know, kind of like an Instagram challenge, but this will be like a virtual fashion show. And what I thought would be fun is if you guys wanted to email to the polysews22 Gmail address, if you wanted to send pictures of you or video of you in the Rhapsodies that you have made, we can put together a fashion show, and then I can go ahead and make it available for viewing on August 30th. Now, if you said, I don't want to be out on YouTube, that's fine. You don't have to. We can always just let me know in the email. We can edit out your face and just show, or you can just show the Rhapsody maybe on a hanger or laying down on a table or something. I think it would be fun. And then I thought I would maybe reach out to Love Notions and tell them what I'm doing and see if they want to maybe, you know, sponsor a little discount or prize or something for everyone who participates. I don't know. I just thought it would be fun, you know, to do that. So let me know. No good or so good. And again, you know, you could email the information and or the picture and give as much information as you feel comfortable with. You know, it could be like, oh, here is Carol from Northern California, or it could be, this is Carol from America, you know, with her Rhapsody, and maybe include the fabric that you used and where you bought it from. So that's my idea. So again, let me know in the comments what you think. And again, the email address is polysews22@gmail.com. I would love to see all the makes that you have, and I would love to put together this cute little virtual fashion show that we can all show off our makes and be very proud of. So I've got a few more vacation makes that I'm finishing up and want to show you, a couple more Rhapsodies. I have the 2 patinas. Remember, I wanted to make all 4 patinas. Well, I have the 2 long sleeve patinas that I was waiting until summer finished, because I just didn't want long sleeve patinas in this warm weather that we're having. And then I've got the Love Notions Aria pattern that I want to explore. So I have lots of sewing, lots of fabrics, lots of patterns coming up. So I hope you guys will stick around and join me for the journey. Thanks so much, you guys. I really appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.